Hello, everybody. It has been so long. I'm so excited to be back on with everyone. As you are coming in, if you want to introduce yourself, whether you are watching this live or whether you're watching this in the replay, if you want to introduce yourself, say how long you've been in Young Living and maybe where you are from, that could be really fun. Before we get going, I'm going to do my huge, so make sure you do the same thing. I'm going to grab some of my oils. So the first one I am putting on is Abundance. I hope that we have an abundant amount of people that get information out of this video today. I'm going to go ahead and rub that all over my hands. And breathe that in. Remember, when you're grabbing your abundance oil, it is not just an abundance of finance, although that's good too, but it's an abundance of time, an abundance of energy, and an abundance of focus, an abundance of all those good things. So make sure you are thinking about that as you are putting it on. Although I did have a friend of mine say, if you're in a really bad mood, you don't want to have an abundance of negative, cranky stuff going on either. So maybe grab some happy oil first and see what happens. Hi, Susan. Glad you're on with us. How are you today? I'm excited. I'm grabbing some of my lemon essential oil because that is what? That is happy in a bottle. And we all need a little bit of happy. And I love the aroma. I think lemon makes everything else smell delicious. I love comboing it together with stuff. So it's one of my favorites. So I got my abundance on. I got my lemon on. Let me know what you are putting on. And I'm putting on some sacred frankincense. I like to use a combo. I use my frankincense and my sacred frankincense. And what I do is 3 drops on the top of my head. And then I do 3 drops over my heart. And the sacred frankincense, I think it really helps me to focus and get clear on my intentions. It's one that you can use for meditation and just lots of different good things that you can do with that. And then I'm also going to go ahead and rub on. I did my wintergreen and my deep relief on a call just a few minutes ago, so I'm not putting those ones on right now. But I am going to put cypress on again. Cypress is one you'll probably hear me talk about a lot right now because I'm going through so much of it. But cypress is one of the oils that's in our raindrop kit, and it's in there for lots of different reasons, but I'm using it right now because it really gives a lot of support to the lungs. And one of the things that's in cypress helps with breaking down, it's a mucoid. It helps to digest mucus. So that's why I am doing it. It's one that you could diffuse. But I also just like to apply it directly on my chest. And then I always make sure I get it on my hands so it's going through those lung pressure points as well. Then, of course, I breathe that in because who doesn't love a little bit of cypress? I love my tree oils. We'll be talking a little more about all of our tree oils today. And then, what else am I going to do? I'm going to do a little genius so that I get my thoughts all working like they need to be. So I'm going to take my genius and make sure I put that on all of my points. I know genius is supposed to be for the kids, but who all needs a little bit of genius? I'm just saying. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I know we'll have a lot more people watch the replay, but if you have questions and stuff while we're going, you can go ahead and ask your questions. So I am practicing. I just did, actually, you guys are my 3rd video today. So I'm practicing to make sure that I'm able to speak loud enough for long enough and not have to grab my oxygen. I do have my oxygen cord here just in case. For those of you that don't know, I had open heart surgery and ended up on a ventilator for 3 months, and I'm still in the repair mode from that. So I ended up back on oxygen almost all of November. So I wasn't able to do any online classes because I just couldn't breathe and talk at the same time without coughing. So I'm pretty excited. This is the first one I've been able to do in almost a month, I think. I think it's been a good month. Hi, Jewel. Good to see you back on. So today I want to talk about, we're not allowed to use the word addictions, so we're going to say cravings. I want to talk about cravings and what we can do. So I'm going to start with sugar because I think sugar is the socially acceptable drug. Like if you're in a group of people and you pulled out some cocaine, people would be like, "What are you doing with the cocaine?" Like we would be judgmental. But you can put sugar in everything and nobody thinks anything of it. Even alcohol. If you have alcohol first thing in the morning, people are like, it's not even after, I don't know what time is socially acceptable to drink because I'm not a drinker, but like we judge that. But sugar, not so much. Sugar is in everything. And I know I'm comparing it to a drug. And for some of you right now, you're like, Shannon, it's not a drug. And I submit to you this. First of all, the sugar that we use is not sugar that you would find in nature. If you went out and you grabbed sugar cane and you ate sugar cane, no, 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 I guarantee you're not going to get through very much of that sugar cane. It's wrapped up in this fiber shell that has to be broke down and it has to be processed to be turned into sugar. Just so you know, poppy seeds are perfectly safe and fine too. It's when they change it and manufacture it and then we get it that we have problems with the drug that comes from poppy seeds. Sugar in its natural state, if you eat an apple, I'm telling you right now, you could eat a bag of apples and your blood sugar would stay pretty normal. But if you ate the same amount of sugar that you would get in that bag of apples in straight sugar and you just ingested it, your blood sugar would go through the roof. All right. So there is a difference between the two. And then I'm going to give you this. Did you know that when they do a scan of your beautiful brain and somebody has cocaine, it lights up a certain area in the brain? Did you know that when you have sugar, it lights up the same spot in your brain? It's part of this. See, our bodies were designed to thrive. And we have this thing, it's a feedback loop, right? And it's our reward center. So when we do something that is life sustaining, like we eat, or we drink water, or we do any of those many things that keep us alive when we procreate. Like when you have sex and you have an orgasm, your reward center goes, bing, 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 bing. This is good. Let's do this again. Everything about you is like, I loved that. And you get this kick out of dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin and all of these feel good neurotransmitters. Even when you're having sex, you even get that adrenaline rush that you get from a runner's high because it's something our body says we need to do again because we need to be able to have more babies. We were supposed to procreate. That's the way it works. We're supposed to. It's a feedback loop that teaches us to do good things. So when we were out in the, back in the day and we had to work for our food and we would go out and we would work and the berries would be growing and we would eat the berries and our body, our brain would go, oh, berries good. And that sugar would go to that reward center and go, oh my gosh, eat all the berries you can find. Because we needed to be able to get that. It was seasonal. You didn't get berries all the time. Otherwise, it would be lazy and would just lay around and we do nothing. But the reward center gets us excited. The taste is exciting. We're happy about it. We eat the berries, and when the blueberries are gone, we go back to just eating the meat because that's what we can find year round. We can kill a rabbit year round. We can, kill a bear year round. But berries, it's seasonal. And so then you get the strawberries, they're in season. Oh, it's good. And the reward center would kick off again. Oh, do that, do that. When you're eating that bear and you get the fatty part, there's the fatty stuff, and our brain goes, oh, good. I need that for my brain. That's a good thing. Dopamine kicks in, and we're like, fatty, sweet, yum, yum, yum. And our brain kicks that up every time. It's a part of the process. It's to get us to do the things we ought to do. When we're thirsty and we would drink water and we drink that, num, num, num. Oh, you ever drink a glass of water and go, oh my gosh, it was so good. That was the iciest, best glass of water ever. When you're super thirsty, that's the reward centers that get us to go do things. Now, what was supposed to happen is like when you have cravings and there's things that you're really wanting, when you are sitting there late at night, like, gosh, I just want something sweet. I just want something sweet. You are thinking of a specific something sweet. You are not just thinking, I'm going to go into the kitchen, I'm going to open my sugar and eat the sugar. You're not. There's something specific. So nowadays, when you're thinking of that something specific, you're like, I want Oreos. And if you get the off-brand Oreos, it does not do the same thing to you that Oreos does. And it's because manufacturers have figured out that if they lace their stuff with different things, that you'll be craving that hit the reward center. So fatty, sweet, there's a combination, a sweet spot, if you will, that manufacturers know they have to have. And when they do, you will just keep eating it and want more of it, even when you're full. How many times have you sat down and ate a whole bag of chips? You're like, I can't believe I ate the whole bag. What is going on? What is wrong with me? And again, it's because they have hit that sweet spot that stimulates that spot in our brain that kicks out enough dopamine that makes you go, oh, more. But I want to tell you how that reward system was supposed to function. Like if we right now said, okay, everything that's being manufactured, we're just going to go back in the Wayback Machine. And if my body was craving something sweet, and you are back in the Wayback Machine when none of that stuff is made, what's the only thing that you could find that's sweet? Sweet stuff only comes from fruits and berries. It's the only spot you're going to find it. Now, here's something really interesting about fruits and berries. Did you know that anything that you eat, if you eat steak, did you know that steak has the enzymes it takes to digest the steak? For sure. It's already in there to digest it. It has it, but it only has the enzymes to break down steak. That's what's in there. If you eat cheese, cheese has the enzymes to break down cheese. Did you know that? When people say, well, I'm lactose intolerant, I say, no, you are lactase insufficient because real homemade raw cheeses have an enzyme called lactase that helps you digest lactose. They come in partnership because in nature, God knew we would have to break the food into tiny pieces to get it into our cells. I'll come back to that in a minute. So when you were craving that sweet thing, fruit has something different. Fruit has the enzymes to break down itself, but then it has extra enzymes. Fruit is the only place that you can get a plethora of enzymes that break down lots of different things. It has enzymes that break down cellulase. It has enzymes that the fiber. It has enzymes that break down proteins. It has enzymes that break down carbohydrates. It's full of enzymes. So when somebody would crave those fruits, when you're craving sweet, your body is actually saying to you, "I need enzymes. I need enzymes so bad." But it doesn't know how to tell you to get enzymes. There's not like a trigger that says, take your enzymes. The trigger for sweets is your body craving enzymes. I want you to hold that one in your thought right there. How about this? When you're craving salty, who is my chip cravers? Like I know there's some of you that just that popcorn, like, I gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. And you want salty. I'm telling you right now, what happens with salt, if you went back in the way back machine, the only place you could get salty was in something that was high in minerals. So there were the salt licks. There was that water that we talked about. The only place you got water back in the Wayback Machine was from a well, a creek, a lake, right? A spring. Those that you when you drank that water, you got more than H2O. You got H2O and 90 other minerals that your body absolutely had to have. So you have those cravings for salt because your body is crying out, give me minerals. I need minerals, please. I need minerals. I need them so much. And it needs more than the electrolytes. We always talk about sodium, sodium, potassium, and magnesium. But that's 3 of 90 different minerals that your body is crying out for. Now hold on to that thought. So we've got salty, we've got sweet. What are other things that we crave? Right? So what are some other things? Everything else that we crave, it's because there's been an addiction process that's been made because of additives. So when you even look at soda, I'm going to link a video in here for you guys, and it is talking about what they did to soda that made soda be so addictive. So in the beginning, so you know, like Coca-Cola actually had cocaine in it. It was cocaine in a syrup with that syrup was a sugar that covered the taste, and it was for all kinds of different things. But they found really quick when they added salt to it, then you would get thirsty after you drank it. And they add, if you look right now at soda, soda is packed full of huge amounts of just plain salt because the salt makes you want to drink more of the soda. If you had that much sugar and that much salt in any other combination, you wouldn't be able to drink it. It would be disgusting. But the combination is that sweet spot. So you get addicted to it. They also had other addictive things like caffeine. Now, I'm not going to call caffeine a drug. I will let you look that up. But that addiction, that dilation that it does to the blood vessels, the reason we get the headache and the headache goes away when we take caffeine is because it dilates the blood vessels. So your blood vessels should be open, blood should be going through, action should be happening. But because we're missing parts and pieces, those vessels are tiny and they're tight. When we get the caffeine, it opens it up. There's blood flow. We have that energy because the blood is moving. And when we stop the caffeine, it goes back down. It's small. So what are the answers? So I gave you a whole bunch of information so far with no answers. So let me go over some of the explanation. That feedback loop, the reason my enzymes make such a difference. I used to tell in all my classes that if I have preteens to, high schoolers, I always make sure that my kids, they got Ninja Red every morning because it's packed with enzymes. They got Balance Complete. because it's packed with enzymes, and they got it twice a day. And then I also had them with Essential Zymes 4. This right here. It's a broad range enzyme. I don't even know if y'all can see it. It's a broad range enzyme. And the reason why I did that is in your brain, all of these reward centers. So we have cocaine receptors, we have nicotine receptors, we have the sugar receptors. They're literal receptors. So let's say this is the receptor. It's a puzzle piece. And this right here is an enzyme. The enzyme comes in, it fits the receptor, it goes in the hole, and when it does, my body can make a neurotransmitter. So neurotransmitters are things like the dopamine. Neurotransmitters are adrenaline. Neurotransmitters like serotonin. Serotonin is the one that makes us feel good and content, and they actually have antidepressants that fill the hole so that the serotonin can stay in your body longer instead of being used by the body. It's a serotonin interrupter. It actually interrupts the signal so more serotonin stays in instead of letting serotonin go do its job. So what happens with enzymes is they go in and they fill the hole. And the reason why I said it was so important for my kids to get all of these enzymes during the day is because even if they tried alcohol, they wouldn't get addicted. So you know lots of people, the majority of people that drink alcohol don't get addicted to the alcohol. What happens is when the neurotransmitter, when the hole is empty and alcohol comes in and it fills the receptor. Now that's not what was supposed to go in the hole. It wasn't. It was supposed to be an enzyme. And then the enzyme allows our body to do something else. But when we're missing those key components, those enzymes, those puzzle pieces, when we're missing them, our body fills the hole with whatever fills it in. And then it can make a little bit. So it can make a little bit of dopamine. So when somebody, does cocaine, it goes in, it fills the puzzle piece. There's a boost of adrenaline that comes out. There's a boost of dopamine that comes out. But that wasn't what the body really wanted. It wanted an enzyme so it can make the dopamine for a good reason. So what happens when we saturate the body with the enzymes first? So we're using things like the rainbow of foods, eating this wide variety of foods. When we're trying things like our allerzyme, which is an enzyme that we have, it fills in all of these puzzle pieces. So then, when you eat the M&Ms, I seen somebody post peanut M&Ms on there. When you eat the M&Ms, you can eat a few, and you're content because that's not the one that's going to kick off the dopamine because your puzzle pieces will be full. So you still may have the habit of wanting the peanut M&Ms, but you won't have the addiction or the craving or the sitting there in the middle of the night thinking, I just have to have it. Because what your body was asking for, you already gave it. That's the power of enzymes. It answers your body's many cries by giving yourself tons of minerals and tons of enzymes. And I'm telling you right now, you will see a difference just about 2 weeks in of doing massive enzymes and massive minerals. You will see a difference in your cravings in general because all of those puzzle pieces, think about this, enzymes go in and they turn things on and they turn things off. It's literally flipping switches for us all over the place. The heart is racing. It's you've got tachycardia. It's going too fast, and then you saturate with all of your enzymes and you saturate with all of your minerals, and your body is able to say, "Oh, we're good," and it's able to flip the switch off so that the stress isn't the same, so that we don't have that repeat thing happening. So the very first thing when it comes to addictions is enzymes. And now, if you think I am simplifying it, or I'm crazy, or I'm too far, I want you to go and I want you to Google New York cocaine addiction enzymes because they have been adding to the water supply enzymes, manufactured enzymes. So these are not man made God molecules. I mean, these are not God molecules, they're man made molecules to the water to help with cocaine addiction. Now, here's the worst part, they have known for 30 years that enzymes help with addiction, but they cannot make a prescription for a naturally occurring enzyme. See, in here you have protease, you have oh, what all do we have? Lipase, you have pancreatin, you've got all of these different enzymes that are just God molecules. They've just been put in a capsule for us because we're not getting it from our food, but they're taken from food, they're taken from cheeses, they're taken from real food, and they turn those switches on and off for us. It's huge, it's important. So understanding that is going to make a big difference for you. So your foundation is getting that ninja red every single day. because of the enzymes that are in there, making sure that you're getting one of our enzymes. I don't even care which one you start with. I will do a class on all the different ones. This is one of my favorites to tell people because it has such a wide variety. It also has one full capsule of lipase. Lipase helps to break down fats into small enough molecules so your body can use them. A lot of times people are upping their fats. They're eating walnuts. They're eating, all the good healthy fats we talk about. They're eating avocados, but all that's happening is their poop is floating because they're not absorbing it because our body doesn't have the ability to break it down. If you don't have a gallbladder, your body cannot break down the fats. You won't get the nutrients out of them. So by doing this one, it's got that one full capsule of lipase, and then it has a full capsule that is for breaking down proteins and carbohydrates. And so carbohydrates are also including all of your salads. If you look at your stool after you eat a salad and you've got lettuce floating in your stool, you're not breaking it down. You're not getting the pieces. So you would do the enzymes. So this right here is a serving. So they come in containers like this, and this is serving. One capsule is fats, one is for proteins and carbohydrates. So that's what you'll see happening here. And you can take these. I recommend taking them every single time you eat and at bedtime, but also take them throughout the day. When you take them with food, it's going to break down the food that's there. When you take them on an empty stomach, it's going to break down everything that's sitting in your gut. So everything that's in the bowels where it's not moving, it's going to break that down. So that is your first line of defense. I also want to talk about our trio. And I know you guys are probably like, oh my gosh, Shannon, you talk about this all the time. But it's because it's so foundational. When it comes to addiction, your gut plays a huge role in the addiction process. So we have all of the huge microbiome of critters that live inside us, and each life form likes different foods, each one. And if you have been a big carb eater and a big sugar eater, right now you have a microbiome that's in love with um, sugar, right? So it's going to send cravings to your brain telling you you want the sweet stuff because that's what it needs. Where if you start doing your enzymes and you do that cleansing trio, you're going to see some differences happening. The cleansing trio goes in and cleans out the gut. We're supposed to have this beautiful movement called peristalsis that happens from your mouth to your anus. And it's just going to massage all the food as it comes in. And part of that peristalsis is squishing the food up against the sides. And as it squishes it, we have these little hairs. They're called villi. And then we have even smaller ones that are called microvilli. And I want you to think of the villi as straws. And what they're doing when the body, the enzymes, and the moving, the chiming that it does, breaks down the food into small pieces. It gets up to these little straws and they suck the nutrients out. So they'll take the vitamin B and take that vitamin B and use it. And they'll take the enzymes and they'll use it and they'll suck them all up. But if this movement isn't happening, what happens is we get all this encrusted fecal matter inside our bowels. So all those little villi are buried in poo. And so you don't have this happening. They're not getting smushed. So you could be taking handfuls of supplements, handfuls, and not getting anything out of them because your poo is moving straight through the food is moving straight through you. So when you start our cleansing trio, it's 3 products. Let's see if I want it. This one right here is our Comfortone. This is a piece of that. The Comfortone, what this one does is it goes through and it helps to break up all of that encrusted fecal matter and it starts to reinstate that peristalsis so that movement starts happening. And this right here, people always think, oh, it's my fiber. This in ICP, which is another piece, they're not fiber for fiber support. They only have a few grams of fiber. What they are is a scrubber to go through and clean out your bowels and to get that microbiome is to support the good guys and help us release the extra. So those sugar craving um, microbiome that you have right now, it's able to help release some of that. So you'll see some changes happening just by adding these ones. And this also comes with an enzyme called essential enzyme. I see Bonnie saying that enzyme 4 you shouldn't be able to take with endometriosis. I'm going to talk to you later about that, body. And but you can use our essential enzyme 4 in the meantime. Our essential enzymes, which is what comes with the cleansing trio, instead of your essential enzyme 4 if you want to switch it out. You could take detoxime, which is one that's got all kinds of enzymes. It's another broad range one, but it focuses on the liver. So anybody that's got a fatty liver, you've got anything going on with the liver, those sugar cravings, detoxime is amazing for. So you could partner that one in there in the meantime. And the Comfortone partners with the Essential Zyme, and then the other one that it comes with is ICP, which is in my kitchen right now. ICP is a powder. Again, it is not just for fiber. It is all kinds of nutrients that are in there. Like one of the nutrients that are in there literally gets rid of parasites and critters. It kills them off and it literally breaks them up so you're able to just poo them out, not have to worry about any of that going on. So you're going to see some differences with carb cravings with that one there. So when you're talking about the enzymes, that's your basis, and you're doing your cleansing trio, which is really important. But then I want to talk to you about a product that we probably don't talk enough about. It's usually only talked about when we are talking about weight loss. Before I go to that, though, I see Sarah's question. She said, what about the caffeine that's in zinc and nitro? There's also caffeine in our sleek tea, but there's a difference in the amount and the type. So what you're finding in our caffeine and our zinc and our sleek citrus slim is naturally occurring. It's in really teeny tiny amounts. So you are getting less than 10% of what you would get in a cup of coffee. And even in coffee, it's naturally occurring. It's in coffee beans, but it's because it's concentrated and dehydrated. That's what we do with the coffee bean. If you're to eat a coffee bean versus the coffee beans that are dehydrated that we do, you're getting way more caffeine in that. Same thing with what they put in soda. It's a way higher amount than what you're going to get in a cup of tea or like in our zinc or our nitro. So they work completely different and they're in there for different reasons. When we do our class on the zinc and the nitro, we have a Ninja Red class. We'll go in there and discuss that a little bit more, but hopefully that helps Sarah to understand that. So you're not going to get addicted to the tiny amounts. It's the huge amounts that we are having problems with. And because we're also not adding the enzymes to fix the cause. All right. So when it comes to sugar addictions, I'm going to talk about a line of stuff that we probably don't talk about enough. We usually only talk about it with weight loss, but it is so much more than that. So I'm going to start right here with this one. This is our Sleek Citrus Slim. And I need you to understand that Gary's heart, when he was creating this entire line, he was looking for something that we could talk about that would help with balancing blood sugar. So keeping our blood sugar even is huge. Like this is super important. And the stuff that you have in your Sleek Citrus Slim, in here, first of all, you have vanilla. Vanilla is a natural, um, known, studied appetite suppressant. So you've got vanilla in here. Think about that also with our vanilla essential oil. But you also have jade oolong. Jade oolong tea is low caffeine, but it is amazing what it does for the metabolism. It goes in and it loves where caffeine will mess with your metabolism. It will raise it, lower it, so your adrenals actually get fatigued. That doesn't happen with the jade oolong tea. This is a huge difference. There are studies that show weight loss, but blood sugar recovery with the jade oolong tea, or think green tea, and what it does for the sugar cravings. That's what we have in here. We also have chocolate in here. The reason we crave chocolate so much, did you guys know that chocolate is super high in magnesium? Magnesium is one of those minerals that we talked about, and that craving that women get when they're on their cycle and they really want chocolate. This one is going to help with that, but it's also going to give you your body that magnesium. Then we have like our mega cal. If you're somebody that craves that chocolate specifically, start upping your mega cal. You might see some amazing things happen. So this one right here, sleek tea, what I do is I almost always have a glass of sleek tea next to me. I do that until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And what I'll do is the same bag that I have right here, it is the same bag I use all day long, and I just keep adding more hot water to it. I stir it around to agitate it, I let it sit, and then I drink it. And then, so I'll probably make 6 cups of this throughout the day. And then what I do is I don't throw away the bag. This is, get this, it is not just jade oolong in here, but it also has okatea leaf. If you don't know what okatea can do yet, y'all need to look that one up. Okatea and blood sugar and sugar cravings, huge. That's one you can put directly under. Okatea is not vitality, is it? So okatea comes in this one, and you are getting the okatea leaf. So what I do is I take the powder and I open up my bags. I'll throw like 6 or 7 of them together. And so usually I will do a brew of cold iced tea first. So I'll use this all day in here, and then I'll take 4 or 5 bags over the course of a week, and I'll make a pitcher of the cold. I like iced tea, so I'll make sleek iced tea, and I'll sip on that. But then I take those bags and I dry them out, and I add that right to any smoothies that I make. I also put it on my dog's food when I add her sulfurzyme. I put some of those on there because the anti-inflammatory effects are huge. This is you just don't throw out something this powerful. You want to use all the goodness that's in there. So we just eat it throughout the day. So those are some things that you can do. Think matcha tea. People do matcha tea. It's green tea leaves, pretty much ground up. So it's the same concept, just no sweetener to it. So that's what I do with that. It's going to help huge with your sugar cravings. Just huge, y'all. You've got to try that one. The other one I want to do is our citrus ones. Again, everybody always looks at these as weight loss, which they help with that. They do. I've seen lots of people have really good results losing weight on their sleep. But the biggest thing is getting blood sugar in check. It's handling the craving. So you're not mindlessly numbing, eating things. You're done at the table, you're putting stuff away and you're still putting stuff in your mouth. This one is going to make that difference for you. What you do is you open it up and you take 2 of the capsules and you take those at breakfast before you eat. You take them and then you take them before you eat your lunch. And what you have in here, again, this is not fiber for fiber's sake. I hear people teach, and it drives me nuts, that it expands and you're just not going to have enough room, which is a piece of it. It does expand so that your belly is fuller, but it is not just for expansion's sake. And here again, you have the green tea in there. You've got that oolong. You've got your ocotea leaf in there. You've got inulin. All of these fibers we're talking about are food for all that gut flora that we have. This is for the good guys to get the ones that are craving the sugar under check because they eat different things. So the sugar craving microbiome that you have, we want to eliminate that and push it out of the way and up it so we are getting the right foods, right? So this one helps with that. It feeds the good guys. That's what the inulin that is in there does. It also has a capsule. I'm going to read all the oils that are in there because that is so cool. It is a capsule of cassia, which is amazing on its own. It has lemongrass. It has pomegranate, lemon myrtle, Idaho balsam fir, and ocotea. So the capsule in here is a way to get those all internally. Now I have taught for years that when you are stressed out and people are just driving you nuts and everywhere you go, it's stress, 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 stress. When we are stressed, cortisol goes up. When cortisol goes up, we lose all sense of willpower. Willpower is out the door. Cortisol says we just have to do whatever we have to do to get it done. And that means the anger, the cranky, the everybody hates me, and we're all up in arms. And I have said for years, Gary Young used to teach an Idaho balsam fir and what it does for bringing cortisol back down to normal. We live in this stressed out world, and when we are stressed, especially right now with everything going on, and who's the president? I don't know. Are you wearing a mask? I don't know. Are you not wearing a mask? I don't know. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you more. Oh my gosh. But Idaho balsam fir is hardly ever in stock. Now, you can use any of our pine oils. So you can use straight up pine. You can use evergreen essence. All of these have that same parts and pieces, but there's something magical in Idaho balsam fir. But you can get that in capsule in your sleek. So in this one, you are going to be working with your sugar cravings. You are going to be getting the microbiome where it's supposed to be. You're going to be eating less just because it is filling up the belly a little bit, but it is food for your gut and oils that help bring stress back down. Who is stressed out? Like everybody? We all live in a constant state of stress, right? So this is getting it in there. Another thing that you can do, so this is this one. I'm going to scooch it to the side. Again, you can now, what I do, and this is just the world according to Shannon. I just started this up recently because it was out of stock for a while. I started this about 2 weeks ago. I actually take 2 packages of this in the morning and 2 packages in the afternoon. So I'm taking this 2 of these and 2 of these. But I think it's size wise. I am obviously much bigger than most of you, right? So I feel that I need a little bit extra, and it has really made a difference in me. It's also one of the things I added here a week or so ago when I started feeling better. So I don't know if that's a piece of that. Maybe my lung issue was part stress. I don't know, but I've seen a difference in me. So I'm excited about that. The other one I want to talk about is our sleep shake. This one right here is so powerful. It is super high in that dietary fiber, the inulin that feeds that gut flora, and it's like a basic multivitamin that you are getting in the form of a shake. This is for those of you that are used to things like our pure protein. Our pure protein has 5 different types of proteins, and they are mostly animal sourced. This is our vegetarian source, and it is much lower on the glycemic index. So for somebody that already craves sugar, this is lower in that, and it's going to help with the cravings. That's some of the stuff that's in here that helps you not to feel hungry or not to want those sugars. It's already wrapped in here. So one of the things I like about it, if you're out and about doing stuff, is you can just, it's a single. So you can throw some of these in your purse, and like what Brian and I do is we just clip it and we use a water bottle and we shove it in the water bottle and shake it up when we're out. So we always have these in the truck so that there's no excuse to eat out. I've already got a full meal in my car ready to go. So some of it is just prepping and planning. All right, the next thing I want to share with you is one of them is not a Young Living product, but I'm going to share it with you anyways because I think it is that important. One, you're going to go like, how does that have anything to do with blood sugar? And I'm going to make the connection. And then the other one is just kind of funny. All right, so this one right here, this is not a Young Living product. This is Chia Leaf. And if you have diabetes, you got blood sugar issues, this one right here is amazing how it partners with our sleek slim caps to help bring that blood sugar back down to normal and healthy. This is Chia Leaf. Some places call it tree spinach, and it's amazing. And you need I think it's around 1,600 milligrams twice a day. And this is powerful. When I was in the hospital, and they had me on all the different meds and everything after the surgery, one of the medications that they gave me diabetes instantly. It went in my IV, and it was like instantly my blood sugar went to over 400, and I was already in ICU, but they ended up having to put me on a pump for blood sugar, and I never had blood sugar issues. And so when I came home from the hospital, they still wanted me to be on medicine for blood sugar because it was just awful. And I don't think so. So when I wasn't on the meds that they had me on, my blood sugar was staying between 280 and 310. I mean, like it really messed with my pancreas. So I started doing research. That's when I started the slim caps, and then they went out of stock. And I added this right here, Chia, three uh, 3 capsules twice a day. And within a week, my blood sugars were down to like 160. And within about a month, they were down to perfectly normal, and they're perfectly normal now. So this was a quick answer for me. I was doing a bunch of other oils too, which I will talk about here in a second. So this one right here, I know you guys are going to think I'm addicted to this one because I always talk about it, but vitamin B. So the reason why vitamin B is going to help you with your sugar cravings and carb cravings is because every time you are stressed out, let's just say willpower is only going to get you so far. That survival mechanism that we have, that feedback loop that we're talking about, that feedback loop is going to win every time. So you have a feedback loop that says you need water. When you get dehydrated, you are going to fight for water. If I said you couldn't have any water, you would fight me with it because your body has to have water. But that's the same thing with saying no to anything that you're addicted to. It's a fight. When you're fighting and stressing with yourself and you're fighting with life and you are stressed out, you use up vitamin Bs. Every time you get irritated, you use vitamin Bs. Every time you're running late, you use vitamin Bs. Every time your alarm clock goes off, you're using vitamin Bs. Every time you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, you use vitamin Bs. But vitamin Bs help us to stay calm, help us to stay focused. They help to encourage our body's natural willpower. So this is one of those $20 things that honestly, if you're having hormonal problems, it's vitamin B. If you're having pain, it is vitamin B. If you're having neurological problems, it is vitamin B. If you are depressed, it is vitamin B. If your skin, if you're breaking out, if you have rashes, if you have acne, if you have age spots, I am actually 150. Look at this. Vitamin B is healthy, beautiful skin, and it's so inexpensive. Gift yourself this one and play with some of the other stuff that we're talking about. All right, so now I'm going to give you a few things. What brand Chia? So Ruth wants to know what brand. This is Health Tech. Um, I don't know that it's necessarily better or worse than any other one. I don't know a good tree spinach guy. So this is, but This is what I use. This is where I seen the difference. So for me, it worked. You just do you. All right. So this one I want to talk about is one you guys all have, and it is where to go. Trying to make sure I show the right kind, guys. This little bottle right here. This is peppermint. Peppermint. And when we first got in, we had a gal that did 20 drops of peppermint in a capsule. It was either 2 times a day or 3 times a day, and she lost 50 pounds in a short period of time. Now, I've talked about it, I've shared that story, but it's not something that I started doing until a few weeks ago. Like I told you, when I started getting more focused on it, I've been so sick, I didn't care if I got skinny, but there's things that happen. So I added these two at the same time. So I don't know which one has done what. I also changed my diet. We are doing 2 meals a day. We started this maybe 2 weeks ago. I think we're on day 15 right now, but we started doing 2 meals a day and I just eat meat. Don't judge me. I don't want to talk about all the other things in the rainbow I tell you about. I'm just doing what works for me. And today we're on, I think it's day 15, maybe it was the day after Thanksgiving, whatever day that is. Um, I have lost 21 pounds in 14 days. So all I'm doing is telling you the things. And the craziest part to me is I'm not hungry. I have zero cravings. So I am doing my sleep that we just talked about. I don't take the Chia anymore because my blood sugar is fine. I obviously do my B's. I'm taking my enzymes, but I started doing this that day too. So this is the Vitality Peppermint I'm telling you to ingest, but we are making capsules and we are doing 20 drops of peppermint twice a day with everything else that we're doing, and 21 pounds in 14 days. That is crazy. Now, I know some of it had to be water, but I'm still pumped. I am super excited. I don't know which one is doing it. The other thing that I did is Gary developed, and the very first product that he developed with the slim line that he did was our Sleek Essence. I don't know how many of you guys use our Sleek Essence, but this oil right here is a powerhouse. This oil right here is for, what did I tell you he started this line for? It was weight loss, but balancing blood sugars. It's about cravings. And here you've got all of your citrus oils. You have your spearmint, which is so good for the metabolism itself. It has your ocotea in here. So everything I said about ocotea, it's already in this oil. It's in a blend. And so what you're supposed to do when you read the bottle is you should drink a bottle of this a month. So there's 250 drops. If you broke it down, you're doing like, oh, I don't know, 6, 7 drops a day. But what we've been doing is just putting it directly in our water glasses and drinking this so that we're going through between the two of us. I would say it's about a bottle a month that we're doing. So we're putting it in our water, but I'm also putting it in my shot glass of oils that we take. And the control that we feel right now, and this is not just me, Brian has lost 16, so I'm winning. How often does the woman get to win when you're doing weight loss? But he's lost 16 pounds, I've lost 21 pounds. And that's, like I said, since the day after Thanksgiving is when we started all of this. So we are doing the cleansing trio. We're doing all of the sleek line. I'm not doing the shakes because we're only eating twice a day. And we're doing all grass-fed, free range, pretty much just beef, eggs, and a little bit of cheese. Not even very much cheese because it's more work. And then we're, of course, on our cleansing trio. We did up. So on the trio, you're supposed to start with 1 teaspoon of the ICP and take that twice a day. But we right now, we're taking probably about a tablespoon twice a day. And just because it's keeping our bowels really moving with the transition, and taking all of our enzymes, and we're taking our pills 3 times a day. So we take them when we eat at our lunch, which is between 12 and 2, somewhere in there. And then our dinner is between 5 and 7, something like that. And we take our supplements there. And then we do take supplements again right before bed, which is the other thing I wanted to talk about. When we're hungry and we have all of these cravings going on, um, it, not sleeping makes it even worse. Like there's so many different studies that show that getting a good night's sleep and sleeping from the hours of around 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock is really your optimal, because that's when it cleans the liver and does all these different things. So think about that, and our sleep essence. So sleep essence, this is like the holy grail to me. I have been on sleep essence for ever. because Sleep Essence is a blend of rue. And back in the day when I was first studying everything for my mom, she had breast cancer. Rue is a supplement as well that has been proven to work with cancers of all types, right? So rue is really powerful for that. And when Young Living started, because we didn't have rue back in the day, and when we started growing rue and doing everything. My first trip to Ecuador, they were actually harvesting the rue, and the whole farm smelled like cat pee. It was just such an awful aroma, but the power of what rue can do is huge, and it does help us to sleep. It also has in here melatonin. And I hear these silly things from people where they go, well, melatonin can be addictive. Yeah, so can water, right? You got to have water. Your body has to have melatonin. Your pineal, this third eye right here kicks out melatonin, and it's supposed to kick out huge amounts. And there's studies that show that cancer patients, they did this one study, it was like 2,000 different people. It might have been more than that with different types of cancer, and all of them were deficient in melatonin. 100% of the people in the study were deficient in melatonin. They did another study where they started giving people that were deficient in melatonin that had cancer, they started giving them huge doses, like we're talking 30 milligrams a day of melatonin, and they seen remissions in their cancer. That's crazy to me. And it's because it's this massive antioxidant. We all think of it just to put us to sleep, but it's also what it's doing to restore health and get our brain function like it's supposed to. It goes in and it tells our cells to repair themselves. It's a powerful little guy that's in here. You also have in here cedar wood. You have what else is in here? So many good things. So I take Sleep Essence every night, probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Unless I'm out and about, I'll take it when I get home. And I put on my blue light blocking shades at the same time so that my brain can start shutting off. So by the time I'm ready to lay down around 10, 11 o'clock, I'm ready to sleep. That melatonin has gotten in there. And the coolest thing that melatonin does is melatonin helps to use up and control all that extra cortisol, that stress hormone. The reason why you'll lay there at night, ladies, and you're making lists and you're going over all the different things is that cortisol is still in the cells. Cortisol is still saying, dudes, there's problems. The world is crazy. We got to fix the world's problems. We got to make a list for everything we have to get done. And we replay all these things, and that's cortisol. Where when you're using your tree oils, like I put that cedar wood all over my face at nighttime, it helps to bring that down. I eat my pine. I'm sorry, I can't tell you to eat pine, right? Because it's not a vitality oil, but I do things that have the balsam in it, like my sleep slim caps. And so that my brain is able to use that melatonin to put me to sleep. And you will find that you have more control. So those are some of the things. And then I want to point out just a couple more, cinnamon and clove. So if you're a smoker, listen, we love you. We all have our issues, right? But clove on your tongue throughout the day will help with those instant cravings. So you're like, oh, I want to have a cigarette, put some clove on your tongue instead. And a couple of things happen. And this is too, if you're a food muncher out of habit, you put the clove on, anything you eat right afterwards isn't going to taste good. That cigarette you want to smoke isn't going to taste good, but it also works with some of those receptors to turn off that trigger. So those nicotine receptors, which we literally have nicotine receptors, it helps to go in and close those down. And same thing for cigarette smoking, massive enzymes will help with that. So do your clove on your tongue. You can make a spray bottle out of it if you want to. So it's like a mixed with V6, so it's not as hot because clove can be really hot on the tongue. Mix it with some V6, sprinkle it in there, just spray it on your tongue. You'll feel amazing. The other one I want to talk about is cinnamon. Cinnamon, again, cinnamon is amazing for blood sugar in general. And the coolest thing about all of these is if you already have low blood sugar, it's all about balance. So it's going to help bring your blood sugar into balance as well. So remember that anytime you're talking about our products, it's a balancer. It's not just going to lower it. So cinnamon is amazing. And using your cinnamon in your tea, putting it under your tongue, using it in your cooking, or even like my one gal, the one girl did 20 drops of peppermint. Another friend of mine did where she was doing 10 drops of cinnamon 3 times a day. Huge differences in her blood sugar and weight loss. It's crazy. But she had to put it in a capsule because it was too hot to take it just straight. It was too warm. But anyways, the last one I'm going to say before I check out is our CBD. Our CBD and our cinnamon. Amazing. You can put this under your, oh, if you were going to eat it against my will, you can put this under your tongue several times a day, and you're going to see a couple of things happening. One, the CBD on its own helps to fill those receptors. We have an entire cannabinoid system. And that system helps us to chill out. It helps us to be able to relax. It helps us to be able to have that willpower that we're supposed to have. Remember, you only have so much willpower. This is going to help with the willpower, but you're also getting that cinnamon that we just talked about for the blood sugar. So you could do, if you're doing the 500 milligram, you could do that 3 times a day, morning, sometime in the afternoon or bedtime. And honestly, if you're having a craving in the middle of the day and you're like, I just can't handle it, you can put some more under your tongue. It would be just fine. Another cool thing, because this is a fatty oil, if you have, if you're going to do this and you've got some hotter oils, like you want to do some of that peppermint or clove, you can do this first, and while it's sitting under your tongue, you can drop the other oils in it, and it will dilute them so they're not as hot either. So you're going to be able to get that directly from that. So I'm just saying, I'm going to end it with one thing. Sugar. Do you realize that just doing 75 grams of sugar, which is like 3 teaspoons, shut your immune system down for 5 hours? So you could be doing all the things. You could be taking all your supplements. You could be eating the way you think you're supposed to be eating. You could be doing all these things. And then you just drive through the drive-through at McDonald's and grab yourself one of their lattes, their cappuccino frappe, or you go through Starbucks, like Starbucks hot mule cider thing that they have. I'm gonna look. I wrote it down. It has 25 teaspoons of sugar in it. Keep in mind, it takes 2 to shut it down for 5 hours. What is going to happen with 25? And that's just one latte. So when you say to yourself, oh, I can just have a hot cocoa, it'll be fine. Hot cocoa has 17.6 teaspoons. 17.6 teaspoons of sugar. Your morning breakfast, you're like, I'm really healthy. I have oatmeal with just a little bit of brown sugar on it, some butter, a piece of toast with some jam, and my orange juice. Do you know how much sugar that is in just that one meal? So think about that. What are the things, if you're doing all the stuff and you're still having the problems, ask yourself, what are those sneaky things that are getting in there? Those things we think are healthy, like just a bowl of Raisin Bran. This one blew my mind. Raisin Bran. People think they're doing healthy because it's a healthier brand. It's 14 teaspoons in a cup of Raisin Bran. And who's eating just a little cup of Raisin Bran, right? I'm just saying, y'all, think about those little sneaky things that are getting in there. And then do me a favor. Everything that you learn here today, have the common courtesy to tell other people. People don't know. Like, I didn't know that taking care of diabetes was as easy as it is. I had no idea. I had it for a couple of months. There are people that it has been a lifetime journey for them. Tell people. They don't know. They don't know that there's answers. Have the common courtesy to tell other people, and then pick 1 or 2 things out of today's class and decide, you know what? I'm going to make those changes. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start doing those changes. So we are doing some drawings of people that are on. I'm going to go over here real quick and I'm scrolling and I'm just going to pick names. All right. So I'm going to pick 3 winners. The first one I see right here is Kristen Jeffers. Oh, Kristen, you won the other day. That works out really good. Let's see, who else are we going to do? Scroll. I'm trying not to look. Let's see. We have Jewel Bryan. You're one of our winners. And then we have Ruth Hugo. Ruth, all 3 of you just won a prize. And I will probably do a couple of these over the next few days on this video. Please tag your team in it. Let them know if you have questions, comments, thoughts, things you want to know. Just let me know. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.